It's interesting how people who once carried the weight of the world on their shoulders, who wore pain like invisible armour, begin to feel lighter, not because the world changed, but because they did. Because something inside clicked. Isn't it interesting how you can hear something new, and even before you understand it, something inside you shifts? Because when you stop identifying with the weight, you realise it was never yours. When it wasn't yours, what do you suppose it would feel like to set it down? Maybe like opening a hand that you didn't know was clenched. And some people say, but I've always been this way. It even always has a beginning. So what happens when you go back before that? Back to the moment when you learned that silence meant safety, that shrinking made you invisible, that nodding made you accepted. But now something deeper remembers a different rhythm. A rhythm where safety comes not from suppression but expression, where approval is internal and your truth is no longer on mute. Just imagine now what happens when someone no longer asks for permission to exist, when someone realises deeply, unshakably, that their voice matters, that their presence commands value, that their energy is sovereign. And maybe they speak now, calmly, unapologetically, with presence, with power, because they've realised you don't need to carry what was never yours. Now you might wonder, how does a person go from pleasing everyone to prioritising peace? It begins with a small choice, a powerful decision, a shift in frame, from victim to author, from absorbing pain to generating light, from seeking approval to embodying worth. Because self-worth isn't earned, it's remembered. There are people who once felt broken, who now radiate wholeness, who once asked, am I enough? And now walk like the answer is obvious. They learned to reframe, to breathe differently, to stand taller, to move with intention. They began speaking in embedded commands to themselves. I release what no longer serves me. I only absorb what empowers me. I move forward, I evolve, I rise. Isn't it curious how people who used to be emotional sponges now become emotional conductors, transforming, redirecting, transmitting only what lifts? Imagine a mirror that only reflects who you choose to be, because your reflection isn't fixed, it's framed, and you choose the frame. Maybe the old frame said, sacrifice equal to love, but the new one says, boundaries equal self-respect. All beliefs crumble when the foundation shifts. And here's the secret. You were never the problem, the pattern was. But patterns can be updated, rewritten, recoded. Because beliefs aren't bricks, they're scripts, and scripts can be edited. Imagine flipping that script now. Instead of, why did this happen to me? You now hear, how is this making me stronger? Instead of, they don't respect me, you whisper inside, I respect myself, and that's enough. And isn't that enough? Because when a person respects themselves, others calibrate, they mirror, they shift. You've seen it. When one candle is lit, others catch fire. So light yours. Let others adjust to your brightness. Now maybe you notice, people will.